Welcome to Beauty and the Beast. Quest for Camelot fucking sucks. All right, let's do this.
That should be the start of the video, and then there's the crack beep, and then we get to the real intro. Hey guys, welcome back to another one of our commentaries. I'm Meg.
I'm Stacy.
I'm the other one, aka Maria.
Yes, so we have a special guest today, Maria here, and today we're watching Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Christmas, in honor of the holiday season. So this is interesting because Maria and I love Beauty and the Beast.
We fucking adore the original, and then there's
Yes.
Stacy.
And then there's me.
Stacy over here has mixed feelings. So let's start with our thoughts on the original Beauty and the Beast. So I adore the original Beauty and the Beast. I think it's a great fucking movie. I love the fact that Belle has a lot of emotional strength rather than physical strength. I think that's kind of rare in a lot of Disney princess movies nowadays, because I feel like everyone expects a princess to be physically strong. While Belle was not physically strong, she would have gotten wrecked in that wolf fight if Beast didn't come and save her. But she is emotionally strong. She never breaks. She never cracks. She tries to escape. I love her. She's super strong-willed, and I love that about her. And I love the Beast's character development, and I love their romance. I think it's a great fucking romance. If people can fight me on that, it's not Stockholm Syndrome. Fuck you. I think it's an amazing movie that still holds up, and it's wonderful, and it's great, and I love it. So
Mine's kind of the same as Meg. I just adore how, with Beast, it's like they actually show his emotional struggle without him saying anything. You just they have such good story beats that you just linger on his expression, and he's every time he's shit, fuck. That's basically the Beast of the whole movie. And then my favorite scene has to be when Belle is treating Beast's wounds.
yes,
That's always my favorite scene.
I love that scene.
A great dynamic because they start off. It's not it is a love-hate relationship, but it's a practical love-hate relationship because you kind of get both sides. Well, unless you're Stacy, we'll let her talk. So that's all I'll say about that. So let's have Stacy.
As practical as you can be when you're being kept prisoner.
As practical as fairy tales can be.
Yeah, yes. Exactly, because it is a fairy tale at the end of the day, and that's kind of the point of it. But Stacy, you don't have the same opinions.
I do not. I feel like I am the only person in the world who does not like Beauty and the Beast.
No, you're not the only one.
I know Lily Orchard doesn't like it.
Oh yay, I'm not alone. The movie itself, I think the animation is gorgeous. It's wonderfully animated, and it actually has some shading on it that most Disney movies don't actually have shading. It's just flat color. And I like Gaston. And to be clear, just because I like the villain does not mean I condone what he does, okay?
I feel like we need to make that clear
yes.
every time we say that, because people get weirdly confused about these things.
Come on, he's a fun person to watch.
He is. I enjoy watching him on screen. He is such a jerk that I find it entertaining. But Belle.
Okay, wait. I want you to get into Belle a bit later because Maria and I are familiar with Belle. I know some people aren't, but I really want to know what your thoughts on Beast are, because I've heard you vent about Belle, but I have never ever heard you once talk about Beast.
I do like Beast more than Belle, obviously. How old is he supposed to be? 21, 20-something?
20-something, yeah.
20-something. And based off of this movie, if we're counting it as canon, he gets turned into a beast when he's a teenager at some point. And I think since then, he hasn't grown up at all until he actually gets turned back into a human, or until he meets Belle. He's stuck at that 15 or 16-year-old mindset. And it's until he meets Belle that he gets to grow up and he gets to mature some. I also find his anger entertaining.
Oh, it's so entertaining.
It is so entertaining.
The voice actor who voices Beast does a really good job. I can hear how angry he is without actually having to see his anger on screen. I delve deeper into his mindset than I can with Belle, and I like that.
Yeah, Stacy just likes the angsty backstory.
So yeah, your thoughts on Belle, which we know, but I know some people in the audience probably don't.
People are going to hunt me down.
We will be fair and balanced in the comment section. Let's not kill each other.
She just comes off as arrogant to me. It's like just because she can read, she is better than everybody in the village.
I mean, technically, she kind of is. She's the only one that has. She's the only one that's actually polite.
Meg's like, yeah, she's arrogant because she has clout.
And she also doesn't follow through with what she wants. She talks about, I want adventure in the Great White Somewhere, and then she just settles for a castle down the street.
Well, that's a writing problem, not a character problem, to be fair.
Then maybe I just don't like the writing.
And that's fair, you know. I listen. I defend Belle a lot because I think she's one of the more unique Disney princess characters, based on kind of like a society standards on what a woman should or shouldn't be. So, and I feel like she kind of blends into that. But I'm not gonna act like she has much of an arc in the movie. But I defend it, saying that that's basically the point. She's already at the stage she's supposed to be in the movie. Her character, she's a main character, but she is not the character that goes through the development. Beast is the one that goes through the development.
She doesn't listen. The Beast tells her, don't go in the West Wing. She goes to the West Wing. He says, don't leave the castle. She leaves the castle.
Oh, okay, well, wait a minute. Listen, if you were held fucking prisoner, you wouldn't try to escape?
She agreed to it. She promised to stay if he let her father go. She agreed to it.
But she literally said, I can't take this anymore. I have to go.
She broke her promise then. She broke the deal she made.
No, I'm sorry. Well, would you? Wouldn't you? I feel like that's a human reaction thing to do because at the end of the day, I feel like she was like, "Fuck my promise. I can't stay in this castle anymore."
I wouldn't have gone to the West Wing if I was told by an 8-foot tall lion who's walking on 2 feet to not go to the West Wing.
But I feel like that's also why I admire her. Her captor is an 8-foot tall royal beast, and she says, "Fuck you. I don't care what you say."
That's extremely dangerous, especially for knowing him for 10 minutes. You don't know if he's gonna kill her or not.
And with that, let's do the Enchanted Christmas.
So, when is the last time all of us have watched this movie?
I've seen parts of it.
Oh, so you've never seen the whole thing?
Never seen it in its entirety. I know bits and pieces of it. I know they took like the lust and whatever was left of lust-induced Frollo and just like injected that shit into like an organ or some shit, so that he's in lust with the Beast, and then tries to get the Beast to play music. And when Belle goes off and drowns herself, and then it's like everything's solved.
I watched this movie many times as a child. Many times. This was an annual Christmas movie for me. Like, we had it on VHS. So as I grew older and we didn't use our VHS tape anymore, I didn't watch it as much. And then I rewatched it some years ago, and I haven't really seen it since. But this movie is still pretty fresh in my memory because of how often I've rewatched it.
It's been years since I've seen it in its entirety. I probably want to say at least a decade, maybe more. I have skimmed through the movie a little bit when I was working on Insanity Circus that I needed more Belle scenes, so I just skimmed through this one. The most that I remember is that Belle almost drowns.
Yep.
And Christmas. And that's
Christmas
about it.
and Belle.
I know I really like the soundtrack in this movie. The writing, but the soundtrack I actually really love. I love the soundtrack in this movie.
So what are we watching again? Oh, Beauty and the Beast! This is actually really pretty. I could see
Right?
I could use this as a background. Boy needs a spanking.
Why?
He looks like a shit.
Because he is Chip.
I know. Well, I was never really a fan of Chip anyway. I thought he could.
No, I love Chip.
I found him kind of annoying. Hey, I would appreciate those socks, you little shit.
Yeah, I love it how as kids you hate socks, and then as adults you're like, socks!
I need babies!
Are you all right?
I fell and I landed on on the ice.
It's pretty slippery.
Yes.
I like how you can tell that they're not at the stage where they don't like each other. Like, this is, I feel like, one of their better scenes in the movie, but everything else, we'll get to that.
Well, because this is after the wolf attack, isn't it?
Yeah, so, but I like the fact that you can tell they're still, like, they get along better, but they're not 100% there yet for some scenes.
Come on, why don't you try it like this? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I read how to skate in a book because I'm so smart.
Shut up.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
I mean,
I'm allowed to be salty. That is the name of our channel.
It snows in France. Why wouldn't you assume that she probably grew up ice skating?
Because her nose was probably stuck in a book the whole time. She didn't have time to ice skate.
What? Why can't you? Fuck you, Stacy.
Oh, yes. It's the horny organ.
Tim Curry, my man. He's the best part about this movie.
I do actually like the idea of evil music. It seems right.
It does seem right, but it's also like, where were these two characters in the first movie? Especially like I get the organ because he gets killed off at the end of the movie, but what about Fievel? Where was he? I really love the idea of a villain who prefers his new form rather than his human one. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, I don't mind him at all.
I think he's the best part about this movie, writing wise, voice acting wise, and just character concept wise.
It's a Christmas angel.
This is no angel. It's the shadow of a monster.
The issue with him is just like his anger and like, yeah, his appearance, but I didn't think like he was a character that would just get set off by seeing his freaking snow shape in the snow.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of amp up the characters, like, I guess, worst traits in this movie.
Yeah, too extreme. Too extreme.
Yeah, it's too extreme on both fronts. They make Belle like, way too upbeat and happy, and she's just not as feisty, I guess. She's just way more like la-di-da-di-da.
Yeah, like she's too passive in this one.
She is way too passive, you know, that's my problem. And Beast is like too set off by too many things.
I know, he's too moody. Like at this point he was okay.
Like I feel like the writers of this movie read the cliff notes of the first movie, but didn't actually watch it and analyze it.
Yeah, they're just like, we'll just make them cliches of who they are.
Presents?
Presents? Do I get one?
No.
No, you can go die.
I'll smash you on the ground.
Oh my god, Stacey, what the fuck?
Beauty and the Beast brings out another side to me.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's also a child teacup, so this is like Stacy's ultimate trigger.
I don't like children, and I don't like Beauty and the Beast. A perfect package.
When I get to know him better, here's what I will do.
She's gonna make fan fiction.
Let me listen to the song!
Shattered.
Just
Fuck
waiting for
off,
this cup to die.
I'm never watching a Beauty and the Beast movie with you guys again.
Absolutely not.
Oh, the wine glasses are whining. I like it.
Oh my god, no! I can't believe Meg actually enjoyed that pun.
Watched this movie for so many years and I've never realized that.
No?
He doesn't wish to be reminded of his past, and Christmas is a most painful reminder of it.
I, for one, think a little Christmas cheer would do him some good.
Belle. Jesus
Belle
Christ.
Hun, you didn't give this much of a shit before.
In the original movie, she would have been like, okay. And in this movie, she's just like, fuck it. Everyone likes Christmas.
We're gonna force it.
Past trauma. Like, what the fuck? Who wrote this shit? This is basically like the people who like, oh, you hate Christmas? Well, fuck you. Let's torture you. I hate these type of Christmas movies where it's like, fuck off if you don't like Christmas. I'm like, why? This is why we don't live in a world where people don't respect each other's opinions. This is why, especially about holidays.
Perhaps she doesn't know how I feel about Christmas.
But she does know. She just doesn't care. Like I do.
I kind of do like their manipulative dynamic.
Yeah, actually, the writing for the manipulation is actually really spot on. It's kind of eerie, and Tim Curry's delivery helps immensely.
All right, logs we got. What do you want? Hardwood, softwood. We got it all. We got birch, maple, pine, oak.
What accent is that?
I don't even know, but it's not French. I feel like we've just triggered some European, and I feel very bad.
I feel like he's a mix between Russian and Irish.
I feel that.
Oh, I don't even know. I was like Scandinavia or some shit. I don't fucking know. Tell us in the comment section how wrong we are.
Men.
There it is. Maybe he's a Finnish axe. I do hear the similarities.
That's starting a war, and I don't think we're gonna win it.
A Yule log. It's a wonderful tradition.
I read it in a book.
Shut up!
Shut up!
You know what sucks is that she probably did.
How can you be so selfish?
You have no idea what it's like to be trapped in your own castle. To be a
Prisoner?
See, this would have worked if it wasn't about fucking Christmas.
I know. See, like, I love that line where he says, "You have no idea what it's like to be," and she says, "a prisoner," and that's so good. But in this part of the story, it doesn't work because they're establishing that they're trying to get to know each other better. But also, it's like you have way too much, this scene is too much dialogue. That one part works, but everything else is too much explaining. It's too much exposition. And he's too much of a dick, and she's way too hopeful. And it doesn't feel right, except for that one line.
It's like, I like the concept of them, like kind of figuring out that they're, like, similar, but just having trouble, like, getting there. But it's about fucking Christmas. Like, that's how they got to the situation.
I know. Like, if that line was in the original movie, that would have been perfect. But because it's in this mess of a fucking movie, it sucks. It's like great. This one line you had is good, but with the context of the rest of the movie, I hate it.
And then she's like, okay, so the Yule log didn't work. Let's just go cut down a tree.
For real, that is a big jump from trying to get a log to a whole tree.
God fucking this movie.
In the room she's not supposed to be in. Again.
Yeah, if she actually, like, kind of acknowledged that.
Again, if this is
wrong.
after the wolves.
Yeah, after the wolves, she should not have touched the rose. Like, she learned her lesson.
It's like, okay, so we both need to learn things. But like, this movie regresses Belle's character, and I fucking hate it. You know what? This movie does feel like fan fiction. It's 100% fiction. This movie was written by people who don't understand the movie or the characters and just understand the Cliff Notes version of it. This movie is fan fiction.
This is all happening in one day, too.
Yeah.
What? This is in one fucking day?
In the beginning, Belle goes,
Do you know what day it is? Today is December 24th.
This is... What the fuck?
yeah, this is one day.
Way to set off Meg.
Fucking day! Are you kidding me? Do you not understand?
Have you gifts?
Yep.
A tree?
Well, we found one.
But did you look in the Black Forest?
Again, it's like these stakes. I don't fucking care. I don't care if they get the tree or not.
I know, like this is actually the big stake in the movie right now. Is Christmas going to be ruined, and are we gonna get a Christmas tree? Rather, while the stakes in the last movie is that Beast might die because Gaston's a dick. The first movie had actual real stakes to it on both fronts, and this movie, are we going to get a Christmas tree in time? Is the stake.
Nobody gives a shit about the rose anymore. The rose is just kind of there for the sake of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
there's no ticking time clock anymore.
Fight! I want you to follow her. Make sure they don't come back.
I want you to commit murder.
I guess the stakes is whether or not Belle's gonna fucking die from the talking flute.
See, with the context of like her being attacked by wolves, you'd think she would go out there again.
This doesn't make any sense with the wolf scene prior to this movie. What? I'm gonna go
I
to
know
the
I'm
Black Forest
nitpicking.
again, even though I almost got eaten alive by wolves.
I know I'm nitpicking, but at the same time.
Details matter.
Show me the girl.
This bitch is out in the forest again.
Bella's an idiot in this movie, and I hate it. Like, okay, fine, you can argue whether or not she's arrogant, but at least she is smart. In this movie, she's a fucking idiot.
Whereas, like, this movie, she's trying to go too far with this Christmas scheme.
I know, it really is the whole Christmas Carol, you don't like Christmas, fuck you thing, and we're gonna make you love Christmas no matter what.
Maybe if they just made this, like, a cute little short of, like, the characters doing Christmas. Like they did with Frozen.
Frozen Christmas short is actually really good. I know a lot of people didn't like it because it was aired in front of Coco. When I saw Coco, they took it down by then. But I watched the short like a year later, and it's actually a really good short. I like it better than both movies, believe it or not.
With Christmas stuff, sometimes you just can't do a full film with it. Or you can, but like you just gotta do it well.
Exactly.
Again with the chopping.
Oh, I gotta do something.
I have to hurry up and kill her.
Again, the stakes is whether or not a talking flute is going to fucking murder Belle.
I mean, he's proven to be like so threatening so far.
That is not how you tie a tree.
She didn't read the book, apparently.
That's one of the few books she missed out. How to tie a knot.
Yes! Death!
Oh my god!
Okay,
No!
just leave Chip alone.
Why?
He didn't really interest me in the first film, and I still don't find him interesting in this film.
Okay, well, who is interesting in this film besides Furry?
I mean, the tree is very interesting. I'm so...
Are you, though?
I wonder about the backstory of that tree.
Oh no.
She lived.
I fucked up.
I allowed her to live.
Are we sure Feifel isn't Stacy?
Tried to kill Chip and Belle simultaneously.
You broke your word, and for that, you will rot in this dungeon forever.
I should have known you'd never be anything but a beast.
Fuck this dialogue! Who wrote this shit?
That's just like...
It's so extreme on both fronts!
Again, it's like...
be past this by now!
It's like, I'm all for, like, going dark and, like, shit like that, but it has to make, I don't know, some kind of sense in the context.
Wait, but he can't read yet, though. Belle hasn't taught him how to read.
Oh yeah, there's that whole scene in the first movie where he says, I don't know how to read, it's been a while. And now he knows how to fuck this movie!
Maestro?
Yes, master?
I'm surprised they didn't, like, arrest him for, you know, trying to murder.
Attempted murder for his wife.
See, that's nice. That's nice.
I have the exact same hairstyle.
I know. I wonder if they comb each other's hair. I like certain concepts. Like, I don't mind if they delved into, like, this back and forth between Beast and Belle. But when you put it in the context of Christmas, it's I don't know. There's, like, a tonal, like, some kind of conflict between, like, the tone of, like, Christmas movie and then, like, the actual continuation of the story from the original movie. So it's like it's sad because like I feel like certain things could have actually worked, just not in the context of Christmas with these characters.
I really like the animation. For it being a Disney sequel, I really like the animation.
Yeah, it's in the lighting and camera work and all that good stuff. Okay, continue.
I liked the dynamic between Beast and Forte. And Belle just aggravates me.
I mean, we can at least agree with you on Belle in this movie, so.
Yeah, this movie, I would 100% agree with any complaints you have with Belle because, oh god.
Okay, so I don't know exactly how many days after the wolf scene this story takes place. It is still a very dumb idea to go back out there a few days, maybe a few weeks after. Like, what are you doing?
It's for, again, it's for a Christmas tree. Like, if people, I don't know what to say, like, do something, save the beast or whatnot, I get it. But again, the context of a fucking Christmas tree. Stakes need to be reasonable.
Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Christmas is a very interesting movie because, like when I watched it as a kid, I was like, oh, it's Christmas and it's Beauty and the Beast and it's fun and it's cheery and I like it. Like I didn't think about or understand what we were doing with it. And then here's my problem with the movie. This movie was written by people who don't understand what the original movie did right and what it did for the main characters. The problem with it is this feels like fan fiction because a lot of fan fiction is like basic understanding of who the characters are without the depth of it, and it always ends up being an exaggerated version of the characters' either best traits or worst traits. And that's what this movie is. They don't feel like the characters. They feel like exaggerated fan fiction version of the characters. Beast is temperamental, but he's overly temperamental in this movie. Little things set him off when they really shouldn't. Belle is overly hopeful and too worried about making Beast happy, which wasn't even a motivation for her in the original movie, so I don't know where the fuck that came from. And she's also way too passive and way too forgiving of Beast's action in this movie. And I feel like that kind of stems from the whole, like, Stockholm Syndrome weird theory that people have got on, because, like, because Stockholm Syndrome is basically based off of, oh, you forgive and fall in love with your capture. But what people miss about the first movie is that she fights with Beast and even tries to escape. And it's not until he starts treating her more like a person and less like a prisoner does she start reciprocating feelings for him. That's when they start falling in love. But in that first half of the movie, when he is being a fucking dick, she is not taking it. And then this movie, he's a dick to her a lot, and she takes it. And she's so passive and overly forgiving about it. And it makes no sense in context to the original film. And I don't get it. And it's so infuriating because how do you misrepresent a film in its sequel this badly? I've seen bad sequels, really bad, awful sequels, but in retrospect, those sequels mostly have the problem of being too bland, too unoriginal, having a stupid plot, whatever. But in this movie, its main problem is the fact that these aren't the characters from the first movie. And that is my major problem with it. I think Maria made a really good point in that this should have been a Christmas short. Not only should it have been a Christmas short, it should have been a Christmas short after the curse was broken. That would have been a way better short because now we get to see Belle and Beast's life after the curse. Like, I feel like, it would have been interesting to see Beast as a human again and them bonding and celebrating their first Christmas together. That would have been a way better plot and a way more interesting 30-minute short than whatever the fuck this was. Like, the only good things in this movie is Tim Curry, because the writing around the manipulation is actually really good. It feels genuinely real and genuinely manipulative, and I really like that. Is it a little cartoony? Yeah, but it's a cartoon, and it's a fairy tale cartoon, so I'm willing to forgive it on that front. But it's still pretty good. And this movie also has like really good music. I really like the soundtrack, both the instrumentals and the songs. Like it has a really nice Christmassy soundtrack to it that I can see myself listening to, and I just listen to. I listened to the soundtrack a lot last year during Christmas time. So it's got that as well. Like I said, this came up before Olaf's Frozen Adventure, but it should have been more like Olaf's Frozen Adventure, which is a genuinely good Christmas short and a good representation of the characters and that story. Like, I feel like this movie just really does miss the point.
Yeah, because they're trying to balance a Christmas movie, with like the Beauty and the Beast movie, and I feel like you kind of have to separate the two. So as you said, like if it was just like a short of them, like just that ending scene, make that a short.
I will probably still watch this every Christmas as a guilty pleasure because I do have a lot of nostalgia behind it. So I will probably do that. But as a movie, it's bad.
I don't. It has a beginning, middle, and end. And that's all.
Kinda.
So okay, kinda. It's got one day's worth.
Exactly. It takes place in one day.
So much, and I thought I had an emotional life. Like Jesus.
Well, thank you so much, Maria, for being a guest.
Thank you for having me and for people putting up with me.
And I guess Stacey and I should talk about our thoughts on the next movie. So, our next movie. This was our trade-off for Quest for Camelot. Because this movie I love, but Stacey does not. And this is my revenge for her forcing me to sit through Quest for Camelot.
I tried to watch this movie a couple of times, and every time I turned it off.
Yeah, I'm like, that movie wasn't. I thought I was going into it thinking one thing and got a completely different movie than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I think me too.
I blame the marketing on that.
Yeah, it was like the marketing made it look like just such a cool adventure.
Because I think the problem with this film is that or at least where I think what resonates with a lot of people's problems with the movie, because I think as a movie it's fine, but I think a lot of people don't like this movie because of the false marketing behind it. And that's just because this movie did have a drastic production change. And I feel like that's kind of, I guess, mean to blame, because I feel like people are judging it too much on what they expected it to be rather than what the film is. And I like what the film is, but also I like what the film is because it has one of those deep emotional connections to me. It's the same reason why I like Spider-Man Homecoming over Spider-Man Far From Home, even though I do think Spider-Man Far From Home is a better film. There's a certain emotional impact in this film that resonates with me very deeply, and we'll go into it when we watch it. So thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for our commentary. Hopefully next week, if it doesn't get blocked.
Good old Disney is blocked. You know what? All the videos except Home on the Range have been blocked. Home on the Range went through, no problem. That tells you something.
Disney's like, we're proud of this. Anywho, thank you for finally getting me to join. So fun watching Beauty and the Beast get ruined. I mean, for Stacey, it's just Beauty and the Beast. But...
Yeah, it's just the same movie for me. And if you would like to see our full-length reaction to this beautiful movie that it is, you can over on Patreon. Link is in the description. And that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.